An NBA championship can work wonders on a player's resume. Whether it's winning without another dominant teammate like Kobe did with Pau Gasol back in the 2010s. When he finally won one without Shaquille O'Neal, it bolstered his resume so much. He wasn't known as Shaq's little running mate anymore. He was known as the top 10 player of all time. Or, a championship can bolster a player's resume by starting a new generation of champions and maybe starting a new dynasty, like Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors did in 2015. Nonetheless, a championship can help some players' resumes so much and in fact change their whole reputation around the league. Giannis Antetokounmpo was known as a loser before he won his first championship, but ever since then he's always been in best player in the league talk, just because he has that championship. Without further ado, let's get straight into the video. The first person in which a championship can help a lot is Nikola Jokic. We know Nikola Jokic is a phenomenal regular season player up to this point. He has 2 MVPs, maybe en route to his 3rd, but Nikola Jokic has never got it done in the postseason. It's not that he hasn't got it done necessarily as much as his team hasn't gotten it done. Nikola Jokic has had great postseasons. Last year he averaged 30-some against the Warriors. The year before that he had a great first round against the Portland Trailblazers. The year before that he went to the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers, all of which Nikola Jokic was resilient and very good. However, Nikola Jokic needs a championship for him to be in the conversation of some of the greatest centers ever. To me, he's already in that conversation, no doubt about it. But with a lot of people who think that championships do everything, Nikola Jokic can definitely use one. When it comes to the center class though, all time there are so many great centers. Bill Russell, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, Wilt Chamberlain, the list goes on. Nikola Jokic, if he wins an NBA championship and also wins the Finals MVP, I think he has a chance of going down as the 6th greatest center of all time. Although being the greatest offensive center by a wide margin, it doesn't really put him in there as the greatest center yet. Bill Russell has 11 championships, Will only has 1, but we know his scoring dominance, and Shaquille O'Neal has 4. All of that to say, for me, a championship is not the end-all be-all, but for everybody else it is. Nikola Jokic needs a championship, and if he wins his 3rd MVP this year and also a Finals MVP this year, he'll be one of a few NBA players to ever win an MVP and a Finals MVP in the same year. Let's go to the next guy in which I think a championship can help a lot. Now, with his teams in the past, they have been extremely dominant and extremely talented. The 2015 Thunder, before KD went to the Warriors, was a stacked team. They had great players all around. Russell Westbrook, they had Kevin Durant, really good center rotation. They had some depth. They were a really good team very easily. When he went to the Warriors, we know that as a superest of team. That was the most super team that we could have ever imagined. And they won 2 championships without even flexing a muscle. Now, he goes to the Nets, in which his first year, the Nets are talented, but they're not too talented. But in his 2nd year, he gets James Harden, a big 3 in which we thought was going to be inevitable. They don't ever become inevitable in the end of it, but the big 3 fails. Kevin Durant cannot win with 3 superstars on his team, including himself. That sounds bad. But if Kevin Durant were to win 1 championship now, I think it'll help his legacy a lot. When you win a championship with a guy like Kyrie Irving, who seems unwinnable with at this point because of all the drama he has and because of his iffy performances as of late, it will help his reputation a lot. Old heads and me alike all think that Kevin Durant needs something to prove. He has to prove something. He hasn't proved anything to us when he won them Golden State championships, and I stand behind that notion. If you can win it with Kyrie Irving and mediocre depth this year, I think it'll do great things for his legacy. The 3rd player I'm going to talk about is Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum last year got caught in a slew of horrible moments as he just choked down the stretch in the playoffs. Now look, when he was against the Heat, he had a good playoffs. When he was against the Bucks, he had a good playoffs. 2 great teams he played against, he had great playoffs. But when he went head-to-head against Andrew Wiggins in the finals, he straight up crumbled. Jaylen Brown was a better player in that series, and you never want to be considered the 2nd best player in your series when you're not even winning the damn thing. If the Celtics were to win that series, Jaylen Brown wins Finals MVP. You know how much that does against Jason Tatum's legacy? The guy that is always said to be better than Jaylen Brown loses his Finals MVP to Jaylen Brown? Yeah, that would not be good. Anyway, a championship for Jason Tatum would kill those narratives that he's a choker in the playoffs, even though he still has not had the best playoff resume. To me, it takes more than just one championship to solidify that you're not a choker in the playoffs. I think Giannis is a good example. I still feel like Giannis is an underperformer in the playoffs. Even though he has a championship, he didn't have the best round against the Celtics last year. He's had many suspect rounds before that. So why can we call him not a choker now? To me, he's still a choker, but since he has that ring, it blinds everybody's eyes. And I think that will do the exact same thing to Jason Tatum and improve his reputation by a long shot. The last person I'm going to be talking about is Giannis Antetokounmpo. If he wins another championship, I just think it just solidifies his reputation. Everybody already sees him as a winner. I don't know many people that shit on Giannis Antetokounmpo for no apparent reason. I do, in the small fact that I think that there's a lot to be desired with his game. I think that he is so-called a player that has been known to improve every season, but I do not see those improvements every season. Now, when it comes to aggressiveness, yes, he's been becoming a much more aggressive scorer and is averaging 33 points a game this season. Good for him. But that does not make him better and more skilled. Giannis Antetokounmpo still has problems at the free throw line. He still has problems with shooting the ball. These improvement things don't seem to improve much besides a mindset. A mindset can go a long way, do not get me wrong, but a championship will help out his reputation even more. Alright guys, and if you didn't notice this early in the video, I just decided to not talk about extremely young players like Zion Williamson, Ja Morant, other contenders that are very young like the Cleveland Cavaliers, because I think a championship will help them. But since they have no all-time ranking because of how young they are, I don't think there's going to be an end-all be-all argument to where Ja just jumps up to be a top 10 point guard of all time, or Zion ends up becoming one of the greatest of all time just off a championship when he's barely over 20 years old. Anyway, thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and go view my TikTok. Yo, peace out.
Hey, come on, I got a bag on me. You try to take it, leave you stinking like your last homie. She kinda cakey, little baby, put that ass on me. But I ain't that horny, do you got some cash for me? Why every time you ask him that, bitches act funny. And you keep trying to hold the strap, you won't slap for me. You too happy, I can tell you never had money. Every time you get on live, gotta flash money.